Okay, so now we have an approved specification for credit verification 1.5. Let's go back into the development world here for the moment. Now back here in our Eclipse IDE, the next step for us is to actually implement the new changes. So if we look here at our web project, what we've got is this is where we're building the actual application itself. Let's take a look in the navigator for our web project. If we look at the source code here, what you'll see is that the source code currently supports the version 1.0 of credit verification, and what we really need is for it to support the new credit verification that we just came up with. So let's go back and let's do a search for credit again, as we had done in the past, and we only want to see the the specification types. So let's narrow our search down to specifications. There's our 1.5 specification that we had approved just a few minutes ago. Let's go ahead and open this up. Okay, there's our specification. We can see the contents of the specification as well. Now what we're going to do is simply link in the new XSD and the customer status check interface. We're just going to link these by dragging them and dropping them onto the web project itself. And as we do this, RAM is smart enough to ask you if you want to have some of the dependent objects as well. Now we don't need these in this case, so I'll deselect those. And if you keep a close eye down here at our web project, you'll see that we've now linked in the WSDL that we had created and also the credit check XSD. So again, these are derived objects. If we look at the properties, we can select the credit service specification, the WSDL version 1.5, or we can choose to switch that to version 1.0, but 1.5 is the right version that we want in this case. All right, so now what we need to do is do something useful. We need to modify our code here. So what we've set up is a simple build process to help with that. And we're actually going to use a JAX-B generator, which is going to take the XML definition of the web service and generate the POJOs for us. So what this little project does is it takes a look at the WSDL that's linked in from Rational Asset Manager. It's going to generate the POJOs for us. So this will demonstrate how you don't have to copy these things around. You can simply link them through the integration with RAM and your Eclipse environment, and then build and generate things from it. So if we go here and start our build process, and we'll just do it by cleaning it. And if you keep an eye here actually on the source code for JAX-B, this will update as it generates the POJOs from the web service definitions. Okay, there you can see some of the new derived objects have shown up. Let's take a look at the credit score response. Take a look at this bit of code. We've got the get score and set score here have been generated for us, and now what we do is we'd go through and fulfill the contract here for our service for the credit verification service. So let's fast forward for just a moment though and presume that we have done that. And if we go back into our release engineering project, which is where we're managing the building of our code, we have a special ant task here, an ant script, excuse me. And this particular ant script is going to take care of a lot of work for us. It's going to check our environment. It's going to download some of the dependent artifacts like open source components and internal frameworks from RAM. It's going to compile everything that it needs from source control and from RAM. It's going to package it up and submit it. So as we look through the process here, it's going to download artifacts from RAM. So it's going to go out there again and get the things it needs, like open source components. It's going to compile and package, and then it's going to submit the result, the ear that it creates, which is the derived object. It's actually going to publish this back into Rational Asset Manager so that it can go through further governance. So let's take a look at this, and let's go ahead and run our build process. The thing we'll start by doing is configuring some of the options. Go into the properties here. You can see that we have a few of these to define. We've got our build ID itself. We'll call this our build demo, and we'll call this ID 2010. We also have the build ID itself, web demo 2010. This is our label, is credit service 1.5 milestone build, and then we've got some other options here. This all looks okay. Let's go ahead and apply it, and we'll run the build itself. So this is a great way to manage the assets, the published and referenced assets of your software, simply by consuming them and publishing them with RAM right from within your build process. So this is using the RAM integration with Ant in order to do this particular work. Alright, so our build here was successful. Quite a few things happened in the course of that. If we go back into Rational Asset Manager, we should be able to find the implementation of the credit service verification. If we go into our assets here and we say credit impl, and we can see that we've got the credit service implementation. Okay, so this was just created with our build process. Now this is our Linux build, and if we look at the content of this particular asset, we see the ear there. If we look at the properties for the ear, we actually get the build information included. So there was our build label. You can see our web demo stuff that we just created, and this takes us right back into the build process. So there's full traceability between the assets that you have in RAM and back to your SCM, such as RTC, Rational Team Concert, or back to your build process like BuildForge as an example. We go into the general details here. We can see some of the details. The other thing that the RAM did as part of publishing is that it also showed all the dependencies. So this ear depends on Ant, on Axis. It depends on the specification for credit verification. It also depends on the customer schema version 1.0. So you get a beautiful list of dependencies to help you really understand this particular ear.